A warm welcome to all the students attending this life skills workshop for women in post-COVID era. Hope you are all doing well. I am Dr. Gopal Das CM, currently Associate Professor and Consultant Psychiatrist practicing at Chitradurga. This session is about stress management. Well, the stress is being talked about a lot of late, at least in last 1 or 2 decades, and probably it is a new day or a modern scourge. So all of us, including me, and all of us are susceptible. Every living person on this earth is susceptible to the stress. That is why we have to know about stress management. Before starting, we'll start with a small exercise. Close your eyes and forget that you are in this session for a moment. Ask yourself honestly, how's my life? Am I really happy? Am I really okay? You can rate it using this smileys or whatever you feel. This is actually made for pain, but it can be used for stress also. Whatever the answer may be, list top 3 things you wish to change so that you will be more happy and contented. You can do it later as well, no hurry. 1, 2 and 3 things that you wish to change. So let us go into a brief discussion of what stress is. What is stress, by the way? Where does it exist? You can see in these pictures there is something which is overwhelming. The bridge is unable to bear the weight of the truck. The animal is unable to bear the weight of the carry or payload, and here it is unable to. The supplying board is unable to bear the load of all the outputs. Stress does not exist outside, it is inside us. It is the response of our body and mind to the pressures called stressors. We'll deal a little more about it later. When the stress levels are plotted against performance, what we can see is performance. What others see in us and what we see, this outcome is performance. But what we feel is stress level. What is there is the performance peaks in this middle area of the curve. The yellow is with optimum stress and it is orange is overload. The surprising fact is too little stress or underload again results in low performance, and on the other end increased stress levels leads to all these negative emotions and breakdown and exhaustion or burnout. So this is a typical stress curve. Most of us will be here, but we have to be aware of the either ends. Let us know the types of stress. There are two types of stresses generally, eustress and distress. Eustress is simply positive and distress is negative, but they can interchange depending upon how the person perceives or performs. You can see in this picture the child securing the first place is not as happy as the child securing the third place. The third place child is ecstatic. With this, the apt or caption is happiness is a choice. This, how we feel makes the stress a stressed out person or not. Our aims, goals, expectations, positions, targets, things to do, and also positive things we do like helping others, planning our day, planning the finances, all amounts to eustress. Let us see how this perception of her changes. What you can see is a lady with a red scarf, and you can write down the emotions what this lady might be having, and we have a perception, so we can name a emotion here, and we see the same picture in a flip manner. See, our perception changes entirely. I don't think both picture portrays the same emotion in you, or you can name the same emotion in these two photos. It is actually the same picture in a flip manner, which entirely changes our perception. This is how there are many things in this world where we see things in different angle and think or assume in a different way. This also amounts to stress. So let us see what are the sources of stress. These pressures or stressors may come from outside explicitly, or our perception of the happenings occurring outside. It can be from outside, or again our perception. It may also be from our own internal physical and mental functioning going wrong in some way, like in diabetes, hormonal problems, even a fever, painful condition, or anxiety, depression, etc. So let us know about the stress mechanism. I'll not go into the depth of medical explanation, but in a nutshell, this stimulation for stress is called a stressor, and stress is how our body reacts to it through various mechanisms, primarily being our hormone axis all the way up to hypothalamus, pituitary system, which lies in deep in the brain, and to the adrenal glands, which lie above our kidneys. These release hormones in response to stressful situations from outside or inside, and trigger a complex cascading mechanisms which result in various changes, and these result in manifestation of stress, or called as stress response. Let us know about the type of stressors. Broadly, for our understanding, it can be categorized into these areas: physiological stressors, physical stressors, emotional, interpersonal, intrapersonal, familial and social, occupational, which includes again academic, because the student's occupation is studies, financial, environmental, and lifestyle related. There might be many more categories, but for our understanding, let us limit to these things. What are physiological stressors? These occur routinely or in special situations in the body. There are no disease status assigned. The disease status cannot be assigned to these stressors. Most of the people undergo these things like childbirth, pregnancy, lactation, and menstrual periods or puberty. Even menopause, in that matter, can act as physiological stressor. Physical stressors: any illness here, or injury or exhaustion can become a physical stressor. There are a lot of chemicals or hormones released in our body which trigger the stress response. Emotional or psychological stressors, these are very commonly seen, like anger, frustration, depression, or being overwhelmed. These are very commonly reported as stressors. Interpersonal or one-to-one relationship, it can be happy or it can be sad, like engagement, proposal, marriage, or a breakup, being rejected, criticized, punished, and abused or betrayed. All these amounts to interpersonal stressor. Not everybody reacts in the same way to all these things. Intrapersonal, which lie inside us, which need not be known to others, or others hardly come to know about all these things. There are many things like comparison, being dejected or low confidence, indecisiveness, dilemmas like right or wrong, do or don't do, and this is procrastination, let me do tomorrow. okay, that tomorrow may never come. Family stress. Lot of things happening in the family amounts to stress, and many times we may not take it into importance. Occupational stress. Academic stress amounts to one of the most important in the student age group, or workplace stress in the employees. Financial stress like debts, etc. Stress due to faulty lifestyle. These are very much under recognized and not easy to identify, like cigarette smoking, alcohol, excessive shopping, faulty eating, unhealthy food, excessive use of caffeine, drugs, etc. Sedentary lifestyle. All these causes a stress and also lead to many diseases later. Now, let us come to how to manage this stress. Managing, before jumping into anything, we have to know ourselves first. Only then we can manage ourselves or the stress. There are four key things or steps probably to understand ourselves and then manage what is going on. Identify, get aware, accept, then act. So what are the symptoms of stress sound like? Most of us would have felt all these things, but we should take it into consideration when these are consistent, occurring often these days. Are you having any problems of late, like never before? Forgetting things, appointments, and need external supports, making minor mistakes that other can see through or yourself pick later, getting stuck while speaking, not getting the exact word, slow down in tasks, getting easily tired, bored, or frustrated, feeling weak physically, feeling underconfident, getting irritated with trivial things, or others have noted that you are edgy or very touchy, getting emotional or mood swings, problems with your sleep, it is excess or lack of sleep, more dreams, keeps waking up in between, unable to get sleep later. All these are sleep problems, which may be often the first sign of stress. Others are not feeling fresh when you wake up, feeling lazy, feeling to postpone things and get rid of things, nervous, tense, headaches, palpitations, tummy upset, choking sensations, dry mouth, frequent urge for bowels, bladder clearing, nausea, bloated sensation, not feeling like eating, etc. You can list so many symptoms and you name it and it can be due to stress. The next important step is to identify all these symptoms, then identify what is causing it. If you have any of the above, it is time to take a little break. Just think of what and where it is going wrong and since how long. Write it down honestly. Don't rationalize. Rationalize means making it an excuse or making some assumptions justifying all these things, or don't get too critical on yourself or others. For example, if you're bothered by someone, doesn't feel comfortable with that person, write the name of the person and your predominant feeling when you hang around with that person. And important thing is to own your feeling and don't blame. Right, since how long. This is just an example of how you got to identify what is bothering you. Now, how to manage stress in actual terms. The next most important step is to get aware. There are very variety of techniques being described and uh, taught, educated in order to enhance our awareness of our own stress. Understand the identified stressor. You have identified already what is causing you the problem, and it is important to understand it in a non-judgmental way. Non-judgmental means Don't assign right or wrongs to it, or don't assign a culprit or somebody is causing it. Don't assume what is causing it. So just try to understand what is it. Many times mindfulness is a technique where it will be very useful to make ourselves aware of this. Mindfulness just means see as it is without any uh, essentially in a non-judgmental way. There is a technique which is described and practiced commonly called as RAIN. Recognize and allow the experience to be there just as it is. Okay, mindfulness. There might be a lot of modifiable factors and non-modifiable factors, things which you can control and you can't. Be aware of which you can control, which you can't control. For example, I can tell you the exam and your syllabus may be a non-modifiable factor, like you can't change the way how exams are conducted, when the exams are conducted, but the modifiable factor, the things which are under your control is to decide how do you approach exams, how you prepare for the exams, rather than thinking of appearing or not for the exams, skipping or blaming the exams or people who set the paper. Write or speak out is very important, because if you think of it now, you may forget tomorrow, or you might change your perception tomorrow. So it is very essential to write it out or speak out. You can either record or share it with your close relatives or friends. Then comes the most important step. What you can see in this picture is we see the world in our own angle. We don't bother about whether it is real or just the way we see. This picture is very much a symbol of that. What we need to know is the reality and accept. There are a lot of things to accept. First and foremost, accept that I am stressed out, without which you can't proceed, without which you will not know what is happening to you. Accept that stress is my response. Accept your contribution. Blame the world lesser and later perhaps. Accept that you, the person who have to respond to it. Accept your responsibility to change and to come out of it. And the other things are accept that you can't take everything in control, or you can change everything. Accept unpredictability of life. You can't know or control future fully. Accept reality and try to be practical. Accept that you need not find answers for every question. Acceptance comes when you are kind to yourself and then to the world. If you are having guilt on yourself or rage on the whole world, it will be very difficult to accept the above things. Be kind firstly to yourself. Calmness always follows kindness. The next step is seek and reach out. As you can see in this picture, a person is inside a tunnel and there is a small opening. A person cannot see what is happening outside, what is there outside. All that is surrounding that person is dark, and the person is standing here, is neither walking or forward or backward. So this will be similar to the person who are in the stress. Why to seek and reach out? Doing it alone, trying to find out solutions alone, often find dead ends, because our vision will be like this during the stress. It may not be broad enough to see simple solutions. Solutions may actually be very simple, which lie outside this, outside our perception. You wouldn't have thought in that way, that is simple. Others who stays outside your problem will make you see even if it is in front of you. This is why it is important to seek and reach out. Whom to reach out? The people who are surrounded, who who you are surrounded with. Others like spouse, parents, even children, other family members, friends, peers, colleagues, mentors and teachers often help a great deal if we approach them. If it works out, fine. Professionals are always available. If it doesn't help out, never hesitate to get yourself treated by a professional until it is very late. Prevention is smarter than being cured, getting cured. Coping up and learning the new ways to live. As you can see in this picture, people always opt for a shortcut and rapid ways of changing them, whereas the permanent and more stable solutions, there's nobody queuing up here. And this picture tells about our attitudes. Both are same actually, but the way we see, the angle with which we see life is very important. Many in real world, stressors are obscure. We can't see them clearly. That is why it is very important to identify. They are obscure, non-linear. That is not straight. We cannot understand them in a simple term, and often non-modifiable. There are many things which cannot be modified or controlled by us. In such cases, we can't just try to change things, but we'll have to adapt and learn a new way to handle those and live better. Most of these are highly individualized because each person's way and perception is very different. The stress experienced by one individual will be very different, and that is why it is called a signature quality. So generalizing the solutions may seem very obscure, but when often put in the terms of lifestyle modifications, where developing positive ways of living has to be taught and more importantly learned. These are ways of coping up and learning new ways. Let us discuss about some of them in next few slides. These ranges from sleep hygiene, assertion training, relaxation training, yoga and meditation, physical exercises, cognitive awareness, anger management, mindfulness, diet practices, spirituality, activity scheduling, pursuing hobbies and passion, taking vacation, so on. The list can go on and on, but we'll discuss a few important things. The very important thing is getting the day right. There are many things. First is schedule your activity in a right manner and do the right activities. Prioritizing and time management, each of these are a skill by itself to be learned. Choosing the right diet plan, adhering to it, and giving adequate time to relax, and healthy sleeping is very important because most of us doesn't know that faulty sleeping habits may land up most of the people in stress. And relaxation is a very effective way of stress busting. Relaxation is a method of getting your body and mind to a resting state where you feel comfortable with yourself. There are many types of relaxation which are again skills and need to be learned and practiced. Breathing exercises are commonly practiced relaxation exercises. There are many types of breathing techniques which are usually taught by trained personnel. Most commonly practiced is deeper abdominal breathing. Just hold your hands, sit in a comfortable position, hold your hands on chest and abdomen, take a deep breath slowly through your nostril and release it through the mouth. Many times if it is practiced correctly and in a right timing, it is good enough to relax us in that particular moment. Other relaxation techniques are progressive muscle relaxation, various yogasanas, and stretching exercises, jogging, sports, and also meditation. And there are other few relaxation techniques like simple taking a hot shower or a bubble bath or listening to music, soothing and transcendental, and self hypnosis, And this one is guided imagery. In this guided imagery, you are trained to think about a particular pleasant situation step by step, including all the modalities: auditory, visual, tactile. So if you uh, master it, it will relax you to the very good extent. The next important module is in stress management, anger management. Why? Because most of the stressed out people get irritable. Anger outbursts are quite common during the stress, and that anger is just a tip of iceberg that is visible, and all these emotions lie beneath. So anger management forms a very important part of stress management as well. Again, identifying the signs of anger, what all happening in your body, is very important. Taking a time out is again a skill to be practiced. Forgiving and distractions are very important. Again, this is a very big module. It needs a separate session to train in anger management. Another important thing is assertion skills training. What is assertion is to get what you actually need without hurting or upsetting others. This is a Venn diagram where there are two things: uh, getting what you want in a very aggressive manner, or just leaving it to others and people get what they want. Here you remain passive, here you remain aggressive. In a small area where when you are assertive, you will get what you want and give what others want. There are many techniques like learning how to say no, learning to comment and criticize without hurting others, learning to express yourself, learning to ask and request. When we don't know all these things, these alone lead to stress. And there are few other things which make you feel good. These are usually positive coping mechanisms or positive way of living, like practicing gratitude. When you say genuinely thank you for someone, it is you who feel better. What makes you feel good? Make a list of things that makes you feel good. Random acts of kindness, when you help out others or when you thank someone, it is you obviously feel good. So use it liberally to get you out from stressful states. All in all, what it just means, that stress management means: feel, ask yourself and identify, accept, be aware of what all the things that causing you problems, understand the circumstances, understand the stressors, reach out and seek help, get ready to change from within, be honest and consistent in efforts. Thank you. I thank the organizers uh, for giving me an opportunity to uh, take a session on stress management. Hopefully we'll be interacting with you when the time comes. Thank you so much. Have a good day.